This is the standard Starlink kit. You get an antenna, of course, but you also get a Wi-Fi router, a power supply, and they include this cable right here. This is called the Starlink cable. It transfers power and data between your antenna and your power supply router, but it's only 50 feet. That's the length that they include in the kit. And if you're gonna install your Starlink on a roof or maybe a pole out in the middle of your yard, like in a clearing, 50 feet is not gonna be enough for most people. Now you have a couple of options here if you need a longer Starlink cable. You can buy the one that Starlink offers. It's $115. It's 150 feet or about 45 meters long. But $115 is fairly expensive for what this cable is. After all, this one right here is just basically Cat6 Ethernet cable. It's outdoor rated and shielded, but there's really beyond that nothing special about it at all. So that's option one. You can get the more expensive Starlink option and go that way, just have a single cable, or you can do what I recommend and what I'm gonna show you in today's tutorial, where you can actually just extend your 50-foot cable up to 150 feet in total length with aftermarket equipment. This aftermarket cable extension that I'm about to show you will cost you less than half of the price of the longer Starlink cable, and it will give you a lot more flexibility in the exact length that you can have in your cable configuration. And it's actually fairly simple. So all you really need are two additional things in addition to the 50-foot cable that you should already have. So the first thing that you're gonna want is this thing right here. This is an outdoor rated shielded Ethernet coupler. What this does is allow you to join two separate Ethernet cables together to form one longer version. It is waterproof, so you can have this installed outdoors if that's where your connection lands. And it's fairly easy to use. You just plug in the two cables and then screw everything together. It's watertight, very cheap as well. This one was about $13 for a 2-pack on Amazon. By the way, I'll leave the links to everything that I'm talking about in the description below. The other thing that you'll need is some aftermarket Ethernet cable. So the Starlink cable is really nothing special. It's just Cat6, outdoor rated and shielded. So you need to make sure to have those same specifications with whatever aftermarket cable length that you get. I got this. This is 100 feet of outdoor rated Cat6 cable. The connectors are shielded. This one was about 40 bucks. So our total for extending the 50-foot cable up to a 150-foot total length is just under $60. So about half the price of the longer cable directly from Starlink. So a fairly good value for this aftermarket cable extension for the Starlink Generation 3. By the way, this is only compatible with the newer versions of Starlink. This one right here, it's not going to be compatible with the second generation, the one where the cables have those special proprietary connectors. The Starlink cable that comes in your kit has these special moisture seals on the bottom, and those correspond with the ports not only on the back of the Starlink router, but also the dish itself. If we flip it over and have a look, that's just to maintain the dust resistance and water resistance for Starlink, since it's going to be installed outdoors. So what I recommend you do, you take your 50-foot length of cable and you run this up to your dish. So this will connect to the back of your dish, route your cable as needed through your home or whatever, and then it'll plug in there like that on this end. Both ends are the same on the Starlink cable, by the way. So you would just want to make sure that's fully seated and flush on your Starlink antenna. Take your other end and route it as far as you can to the location that you want to install your Starlink router. That's usually indoors. And once you get there, or once you get as far as you can anyway, this is where the Ethernet coupler comes into play. So let me move this out of the way. And this is how this is going to work. So you have your aftermarket cable on this side and then your Starlink cable on this side. So the coupler just unscrews. And this is really what it comes down to, just a way to join two cables together. And so each end has some waterproofing, so we're going to install that on each cable end. You take it apart. The first thing that's going to go on goes in reverse order. So you want to take your cap, put it on this end of the Starlink cable, and then your little seal thing just plops over like that. And then finally you can put on this little section. Now this rubber part is your weatherproofing, so that slides back in just like that. And then you can screw your cap on, but just do it a little bit. You don't need to tighten it down on the way yet. That way we can still have some movement for when we actually install our coupler. We're gonna repeat the same thing on our section of aftermarket Ethernet cable. This is, again, 100 feet of Cat 6 outdoor rated and shielded cable. It's really important that you get shielded cable. That's required for the Starlink since this is sending so much power and data over the cable. It's also important for preventing interference. So now we're going to join these two together. Let's have our connector end on though. So again, we'll take this part and put our cap on first. The cable jacketing on the aftermarket cable is a little bit bigger, but that still fit through. And then we put our little seal, and then finally this part. Again, put the seal into the cap here, and then we can screw this on just a little bit, just enough to keep it in place so we can still move it up and down the cable. Okay, so now that was fairly easy. Now let's join these two together to make a single cable run. So you'll just plug it in like so. This one, the aftermarket cable, is going to have an active latch design, so it's not going to come out. The Starlink end, though, has a passive latch design. And again, that goes back to their ports here. They designed them to be passive, meaning you don't have a tab to depress to get these out of here. You just simply, if I can plug it in, you just simply pull it out with a little bit of force. And that's going to be the same thing on this side. So don't worry if it doesn't actually click or latch in there. It is in there. You know, it doesn't fall out, but you can give it some force and it'll just pull right out. That's normal. That's supposed to happen. Okay, so once these are joined together, then we can take and screw on both ends. There's some rubber seals here as well, a couple of O-rings that prevent moisture from coming in and messing with your connection. So we'll tighten these parts first on both ends. They don't need to be super tight, just tight enough to make that seal. Okay, so those are done. Now let's tighten our final caps here. And what that does is that squeezes down on this little rubber part that's surrounding your cable. And that is preventing any moisture. See how that's kind of coming out of there now? You don't need it super tight. You don't want to destroy the rubber. You just want it tightened down so that no water can get in through there. And that's good right there. So now we have a nice, solid, reliable cable connection. And with the 100 feet here and the 50 feet here, we now have 150 feet of cable going to our Starlink antenna. Let's talk about this router end though, because this might be the most difficult part of this entire process. So this connector here, it's got a weird oval shape. It's kind of recessed into the router a little bit. I don't know how much you can see of that on camera, but that makes it pretty challenging for most aftermarket connectors to be able to slide into here. So what I actually had to do was trim off some of the little plastic jacket back from this connector to make it more streamlined so that it will be able to fit inside this thing. That's one of the only downsides of this method, is that most aftermarket RJ45 connectors are not designed to go into this special little shape of this port. So you just trim it down a little bit with some cutters, and now we can insert it in just like that. And same thing applies. It's not going to be an active latch design because of the way this Starlink has designed this port, but you can still plug it in there and it's not going to fall out. You still need quite a bit of force to actually remove it. So that's all there is to it. This will be mounted inside, connected obviously with your power supply, and this is your Starlink connector. This will go outside to your dish on your roof. But let's make sure all this is going to work. So I'm going to power it up just to test it out real quick. Got my power supply here, and I'm outdoors on its nice day today, so I have brought my portable power station with me as well to power this thing up. Okay, it's been a few minutes and we are all booted up. let's run a quick speed test and I'll show you a couple things just to verify this is going to work okay. So after you let your router boot up, connect to the network, and you should see the boot sequence going where it says, booting up, calculating orientation, etc. So make sure it gets through that process and you end up online. And then if you run a quick speed check, it'll double check that your cable's performing decently. So I got 227 down, 32 up. So I know that my Starlink is operating normally. Some other things that you could check, if you go down to, in the Starlink app, go down to advanced and then go down to debug data, you can see some additional information about your cable connection between the Starlink router and the antenna. So the two things that you want to look for are the cable ping drop rate and the cable ping latency. Your cable ping drop rate should be 0%, 1% maximum. Anything over that, it tells you that you're having issues with your cable. The signal is not going to your Starlink dish completely unaffected. There could be some interference there, could be voltage drop. If your cable ping latency is really anything over 1 millisecond, that also indicates an issue. And you might even see in the Starlink app dashboard, you might see a yellow line between the dish and the antenna if you're having cable issues. Now, if you can't get it to boot up and get online after you've done this aftermarket cable extension, it's usually because your cable is simply too long. The voltage drop going from the router to the antenna, if it's too much voltage drop, then the Starlink will get caught in this boot cycle where it goes through the boot process over and over and over again and doesn't actually connect and stay connected to the Starlink satellites. If you're getting that, if you're running into that issue where your Starlink won't fully boot up, what I recommend doing is just reducing your total cable length. So remember earlier I said that 150 feet is the maximum supported cable length between the router and the antenna according to Starlink. They sell about a 150 foot cable. Anyway, that's where we get that information from. But keep in mind, when you're doing this aftermarket cable extension, you're adding in some additional resistance through the coupler, the Ethernet coupler, and then also the quality of the aftermarket cable can come into question here. So if your aftermarket cable, these are usually from Amazon, they're usually on the cheaper side of things. So your mileage may vary there. So even though you're 150 feet and you're technically within that limit, you may still have this boot loop issue where you're not able to actually power up your Starlink antenna. So that is why I recommend, like I said earlier, figure out nearly exactly how much you need as far as length goes and try to get as close to that as possible. The closer you are to 150 feet, the more issues you're likely to have, especially with a third-party cable issue. I hope this Starlink aftermarket cable extension tutorial was helpful, saved you a little bit of money over buying the OEM longer Starlink cable. Let me know if you have any questions or feedback for me for anything in this video or any of the components listed. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching, really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video.